One of the biggest things I used to wonder about was when I was ready to enter into a new relationship. How do I read the stars to know when I knew for sure a girl was right for me? Which is its own separate video, and to be honest, I'm unsure how to answer that myself. On the flip side of that, after many failed relationships, failed dates, friend zones, and hearing other friends' experiences, I can say with confidence that I know for sure when someone is not ready for a relationship. Getting straight into it, you are easily charmed by getting basic attention from somebody. If you fall in love just because a girl is asking you questions, giggling at your jokes, and dropping hints that she's into you, then, less than a week or two from now, you guys are officially boyfriend and girlfriend, chances are that you aren't ready for discernment or learn to let things naturally take their course. Let me explain. So, let's flash back to my junior year of high school. Fresh from the famous summer of 2016, I had a falling out with a good childhood friend, on top of many fallouts earlier in the year with friends I'd known since fifth grade. I still had a little bit of hope left in my basketball dreams of impressing at tryouts after failing twice in my freshman and sophomore years. I was starting at a new school, entering into an important phase of my life, and our relationship with my parents was at an all-time low. It was the perfect stew to create one of the loneliest phases in my life that I had to navigate alone. And to be honest, up there with some of the worst parts of my life ever, which is probably a canon event that every man will go through in life. However, I do wish I had some kind of like older brother or older cousin, somebody to guide me or somebody to confide in. I wasn't a rebellious kid per se. I was just a kid starved for attention and wisdom, but was left in the desert. Some people instinctively say you have to go through it, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, or the mistakes to build character. That may be true at times. It wasn't the only option. It didn't have to be that way. Like I said, I wasn't a rebellious kid. I was just really starved for attention. I was craving love, basically. But I'm getting a bit sidetracked. Anyhow, during that phase I just mentioned, one of the big events that I navigated alone was having my very first girlfriend. And I had no idea what I was doing. But with a heart that was broken from losing friends, bruised from fights with family, and low on hope, I was willing to fill it with anything. When she gave me attention that I wasn't getting, it created a poor precedent that we are going to go headfirst and disregard any obvious signs that this isn't going to work. If you rush into a relationship after just meeting somebody and make her your girlfriend immediately, then you aren't ready. You may need to address something within. Now, I'm not trying to come off as high and mighty. I fell in love with a girl last week without exchanging a single word, right? Difference now is I know how to regulate my emotions. Anytime I ask a girl out because I think they're attractive or I enjoyed speaking with them, I want it to be a slow process of dates, then following up with exclusivity, and eventually becoming boyfriend, girlfriend, and so forth, right? Which is a great pivot to the second sign you're not ready for a relationship, which is you haven't addressed internal issues. Now, I want to be careful and not make someone feel villainized for an internal conflict, be it insecurity, trauma, or any other emotional or mental struggles. Don't feel guilty or ashamed for what you feel and are fighting with. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sure others watching this video are rooting for you as well. A huge reason why many of my relationships failed was from a failure to confront my insecurities and emotional issues. Keyword emotional issues. I used to self-diagnose myself, as we're all guilty of doing, as I have mental health issues, whatever, right? Also, just to clarify, I'm not a healthcare professional, not a mental health care professional. This is just my personal experience. If you have suspicions that you have a mental health issue, please seek out a professional, not me. Yeah, dude, it couldn't be further from the truth. I'd like to say I've been to therapy and I've never been diagnosed with anything. And really, again, like I said from the beginning, I was starved for attention. I was starved for love. I just lost some of my best friends I've known since I was a child. And my relationship with my parents, the two people who I look up to for everything and anything, were fighting with each other all the time, or were like at each other's necks. And it sucked, dude. But that's not really a mental health issue. That's just an emotional issue, dude. Something you need to talk it out with either a therapist or I probably should just talked it out with my parents, but I'll make another video about that one day. So getting back into how this ties into relationships, a huge reason why many of my relationships failed was from a failure to confront my insecurities and emotional issues, be it pride, denying that I had a problem, or filling that void with eating junk food or other self-sabotaging manners. There was a laundry list of reasons why I never confronted my issues sooner, but it was important that it happened at all versus never. It is not easy, believe me, I know that feeling perfectly. It's something you need to be strong for. And I believe in you that you are strong enough. Maybe nobody's told you that yet. Because even in college, I would go on to make the same mistake twice by rushing into a relationship to fill a void that stemmed from insecurity about being wanted, feeling lonely, and attaching to the first girl who showed me any attention. All right, third sign, you do not know what you want out of a relationship. I was once in a relationship where me and this girl had two different outlooks on life. She was ready to settle down and live the ordinary suburban life of a 9 to 5 and chill on weekends. In contrast, I had to convince myself that's what I wanted too, when deep down I knew it wasn't. I was extremely close to subscribing to the NPC life of a 9 to 5, dry humor, talk about sports teams I don't care about at work, and carrying that insincere, cringe corporate personality around 24/7. Yet something in me refused to let go, and I still had ambitions for my life, and we would clash about it here and there. I'm not trying to paint her as a bad person. Her wanting to be with someone who wants to exclusively focus on their marriage and upkeeping a home is fine, but just not for me. I have a 9 to 5 right now, but in my free time, I'm getting after it. I'm getting after what I want to accomplish while I'm alive. I definitely don't want to fall into the mindset that I'll never accomplish anything great in my life. Even if I was to be added into a relationship right now, I wouldn't give up my side quests. It may sound shallow or like I'm a bad guy, but I've made that mistake before of giving up my passions, my projects for a relationship, and I had nothing to show for it when it didn't work out and we broke up. I'm not going to make the same mistake for a third time. And what that has to do with not knowing what you want out of a relationship is at the time, I didn't even know what I wanted out of my own life. Again, I was just in that relationship just to satisfy some little gremlin inside me that thinks I'm not valuable enough. And it wasn't fair to them, right? Because they're thinking about marriage, they're thinking about X, Y, Z. But again, just try and think about it from your guys' perspective. Think about, what do you actually want out of a relationship? What would a successful relationship look like in your eyes if you knew what you wanted? All right, the last thing I'll talk about for now is, if your life is in a bit of a mess, inviting somebody into your life may not be the move. If your finances are out of control, you're working 3 jobs, had a recent heartbreak or disappointment, drowning in homework from college, or just lost in life in general, you may need to take some time. It will hurt because being in a relationship is beautiful and fun, and you will experience a bit of FOMO. I know I did, and to an extent, I still do. My mantra for the rest of the year is to let it all work out. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. 2024 was one of the worst years of my life from many perspectives. In line with the theme of this video, romantically, it was a disaster. I went through a breakup and was depressed all in spring that I had just wasted 2 years of my life for nothing. I got into a quasi situationship with this girl who was in her own situationship and hoping she'd give up on him and date me. And finally, I went on a date with another girl near the end of the year, and it went really good. I liked her a lot, but it ended in disappointment. She said it wasn't going to work out. The time my graduation rolled around in December, I had to figure myself out. I had to come to terms with the fact that a relationship won't satisfy me. That's a spiritual issue, which is another sign I'll throw out there. If you're looking for a relationship to make you whole or find spiritual satisfaction, you're going to be severely disappointed. Anyhow, yeah, after graduation, I just thought, at this point, what do I have to lose? Honestly, what do I have to lose? I rolled out my first YouTube video, had a memorable run in the summer last year. Sure, I'm not getting thousands or millions of views, but I know I'm on the right track. If I was able to get to 100 subs, that means I'm on to something. And again, thank you guys so much for 100 subs. As of recording, we're at 106, hopefully another 100 by the end of this summer. I started training judo with my good friend. While I still have a long way to go, I'm getting closer and closer to my first tournament, and I could not be more excited and could not be more ready for the moment. Finally, I'm one test away from my CPA license. I'm gonna learn French this summer for my trip to Montreal, and I got a host of other stuff to keep me busy. The takeaway should be, if you're a guy out there struggling with the relationship game, relationship economy, whatever you want to call it, just let it work itself out. Whether you're the problem in relationships or you're attracting the craziest woman on the planet who will drive you insane, let it all work out. I'm positive the right one, she's going to pop up at the right time. God's timing is perfect. For now, enjoy life, dude. And if life isn't enjoyable, go out there and fix it. Because look, I'm a patient guy. You can cry on my shoulder and talk to me about it for a whole day. I won't dismiss what you're going through or what you're feeling, right? If you've been dealt a really bad hand or you're just really struck out on your luck, hey, I get it, man. We can talk about it. Eventually, though, I'm going to say, what can you do? There's always something in your control, guys, and I'm rooting for you. I know it's tough. I know it's hard. I know it's easy for me to just say it. Only you can make it happen, right? At some point, you gotta make that choice. Anyhow, let me know what you guys think. What are signs that somebody isn't ready for a relationship? What's the biggest lesson about dating you've learned so far in life? Catch you guys on the next one. Take care.